welcome back, you guys. I'm so excited to see you today because I want to tell you so much about me going to the United Kingdom, the UK. So it's been quite an exciting month. March has really been so full of energy, so full of so many blessings. One, because I turned 30 and I got to celebrate my birthday like more than three times, which was amazing. But the most beautiful gift that I got this year was traveling to the United Kingdom. And I want to share with you guys how the entire trip went, what are some of the things I experienced, what are some of the things that you can anticipate if you want to travel to the UK? Okay, so let's get into this. So I traveled to the UK around 13th. I traveled on 13th March, and that was the day before my birthday because my birthday was on the 14th of March. And when I traveled to the UK, we went into Leeds. Now there were so many things that was so exciting, yeah, about traveling to the UK. However, I'm going to break this down into a few things or a few topics that actually excite me the most. For instance, I want us to talk about the fashion, the transportation, the city, the cost of living and how people live out there, and some of the systems that are really quite impressive. Okay, so firstly, let's jump into the fashion. Guys, I have been watching all this YouTube content around like winter fashion and all that stuff, and it's been exciting. And finally, I got to be able to leave that out. For very many people, they might think like, okay, you came from Uganda, whose temperatures are like over like 20 degrees, and then you just went into like lower than 10 degrees of weather. Like, wasn't that shocking? It wasn't really shocking because by the time we traveled to the UK, we had already kind of looked at the weather forecast and looked at what the weather is like out there, so we knew what to expect. It was not shocking. However, on arrival, it's kind of different experiencing it, but it was also not that shocking. So the very first day, we landed on the 13th. It was late in the night. All we could do was sleep. On the 14th of March, which was also my birthday, I had to get out. I left the hotel. I just kind of wanted to, like roam the streets and see how people do. And I remember leaving the hotel for the very first time, and my eyes were just watering. Like I literally had water just going like this because it was so cold, and I was warm like the other parts of the body. But because of the wind, like my eyes like, had so much like water in them that it was quite interesting. However, it was just nice to be able, to get out there and be able to put on like my trench coats, like put on my boots. Those are things you won't experience like in hot weather. Those are things like you get to like experience in like really cold weather. And it was quite nice, like experimenting with like different styles while out there. Now the only time that the weather would get so out of hand that style didn't make sense anymore was when it would rain. Because in the UK it would randomly like rain. You literally just walk around. It's like just a normal gloomy cold day, and before you know it, it's raining. Yeah, so those were the parts that were quite like hard, like to be out there. However, the weather that was just cold, it was bearable. You could walk around. I was able to walk around in the malls, see the kind of like clothing they were able to sell. I really enjoyed like how like clothing was set up, like the more experience, like it just makes you want to shop. I like how they presented their items, even just the customer care, like it gives you that excitement that you want to be out there and go shopping. So I was able to, at least I was able to roam around and check out all the major stores. I was able to check out Primark, Mango, H&M, like all the brands, Marks and Spencer. You're able to just go around and see what the stores have. And part of what I really appreciate about that is the quality of the items in UK stores is really so like it's really good quality in comparison to the kind of quality of clothing we have out here in, let's say, Uganda or in Africa. And I think what they usually say about products, that literally companies will manufacture products and they will have like Europe samples, and then they also have like African samples. And I think that needs to change. Like all clothing should really be good clothing, because even like in Africa, people really like good stuff. So I think we should also be like a target market for the kind of clothing that's out there. But generally, experiencing the stores was really nice just to see the styles. And it's also interesting how they set up their clothing, because how they manufacture clothing is based on seasons. So by the time we were out there, like winter was kind of phasing out, and I think spring was just coming up. And I can tell you that we're able to get some items on like sales, and it was a nice shopping experience because it was not like break your bank kind of experience. It was more like you could save some money and still be able to get some really good things. So that was quite fun. Other stores that we also enjoyed to check out were like stores that had like products around like home goods, or even just like home like things. So things for your bathroom, things for your bed, like things for your kids. And one of like my favorite, I think, which was like a hit, like Poundland is such a hit. If you're looking to save some money and you're visiting the UK for a little bit, Poundland is a nice place to go because you'll find like a variety of things, and most of them like range between like £1 to £4, yeah, which is quite nice because you're not going to spend all your money on the trip. So one of the things I was not able to experience while out there was the nightlife because I think it was too cold and it's quite difficult just to move around a lot, and most of the time it's like raining. So hanging out in the night, that was not something that happened a lot. I think we went out one time to our chemist, which is like a bar or like a pub. It was very gentle. It's just like drinks, and then you sit, and they have like all this interesting presentation of their drinks. But I can't really say that I experienced the nightlife of like the UK. And for the trip that I had, we went to Leeds for a little bit, and then we traveled to London the second half of my trip. So we got to experience a little bit of like both worlds. So let's say if you're like in Uganda, like Kampala, that would be like the London of the UK, and then Masaka would be like the Leeds. But interestingly, Leeds was way better of an experience than London was. Like it was so nice, and it was so like upbeat and modern. Like it had all these very interesting places to see. And I feel like London is like so city like very business-ish, and very serious, and there's not much like to see. And the place you need to go see, like they're quite a distance because London is really big, and then also some of them actually require you to be paying money. But some of the things you can be able to do for free, you can visit art galleries. Most of the galleries and the museums are free of charge, so you can be able to see those. But some of the main sites to see in London, you need to pay for them. So make sure you look them up before. Now, the sites we were able to see, we went to Westminster, and then we were able to just see, the palace and all these beautiful, statues of like Winston Churchill and all these other like great people, which was quite nice. And it offered us like nice opportunity to take some really good pictures before it rained. It was a very beautiful day, just to see the things that actually make London, London, yeah. And then also besides just the different sites that we visited, like it was nice to take pictures because there's really, really like very rich architecture in London. Overall, in the UK, like I like the structures of their buildings. I like the color, the grayness of the structures. It really makes really good backgrounds for pictures. So for me personally, I really enjoyed that about my trip. The other hit about that trip was transportation because you got to experiment a little bit with different ways of transport used by people in the UK. And personally, the trains, like so efficient. You can be able to move from one point to another like very easily. And it's interesting because for us in Africa, when you're paying for like public transportation, most of the time like there's a lot of like exchange of like cash and money and change and balance. Like it's a lot, and sometimes it's very easy to run into like the conductor, have like small arguments and whatnot, which is also nice because we get to have interaction as people. But what I especially liked about the transportation back in the UK was just how contactless it was. So you could be able to get through your day very quickly, plan out your day, and you didn't have any interruptions because, oh, now I'm waiting for my change, I'm waiting for my balance, and all that stuff. You literally have to swipe up. So these are the cards we got. We got these, and they basically just kind of help you, with transportation and all your movements, like all through like the UK. Then you can be able to move from point A to point B, either it's a bus or a train, you can just be able to use this card. You literally just swipe it and they bill it directly, and you can be able to make all the movements you need to make, which is quite nice. And I really enjoyed that. And I think also just the comfortability of all, the stations, and even how like all the journeys are really nicely organized. So if you're going on a trip, it was very easy for you to because when you're in a new place, you don't know where you're going, you can easily get lost. But the obviousness of the trips and how they keep on mentioning the names of the places you're going, I think it makes it easy for someone who is new to the city to kind of figure their way out and be able to make all the stops you need to make. So that was quite nice. So we were able to get around very, very easily. The food, the food was quite challenging. The food was quite challenging because the people that we visited, majority of the food that I think were offered like during like lunches were like sandwiches, which were quite cold. And I think even the breakfast that we had at the hotels were also like really made up of like cold stuff. So maybe if you had like something warm, it would be like maybe like a warm coffee or like a warm cappuccino or something like that. But in terms of like foods and it was quite difficult to get like a hot meal early on in the day. And I think we found ourselves like waiting until dinner because we had so many activities in between, like from morning to the afternoon, that you would find yourself having to wait until dinner when we could have time to go to a hotel or like a restaurant and be able to actually sit down and eat food. And Indian food was the heat for the entire trip because the taste was not so different from what we're accustomed to. So most of us ended up finding ourselves enjoying a lot of Indian food. And one of the favorites, like favorite restaurants that most of us enjoyed while we were out there was Akbar's in Leeds, which was so nice. Like you would find yourself going there today, tomorrow, the other day, like you keep on going back because the food was so good. And their hospitality was really, really nice and sweet. I think I had my birthday dinner there and they were really nice about it. And I think I was able to have a very nice experience out there and I really enjoyed it. Are there things that I didn't like about the entire trip? I think no. I didn't really have any bad experiences. I spoke to a lot of the people out there. I really, I mean, it's just in my personality to really like engage with people and have chats with people here and there. And I think overall, I can't say that I met someone who was mean to me, who was not nice, or in terms of like racism. I'm not saying it's not out there, but I'm just saying for me, I didn't really experience it. I found really warm, welcoming people who I was able to have like really genuine conversations with and ask them like anything about the city because one of the ways to experience places is to speak to the people who stay there and they'll tell you so much about their lives and how they're able just to go around the environment. So overall, I think it was quite a nice experience. I enjoyed it, and would I go back? Yes, I would definitely go back. So I hope you get a chance to also go out there and visit the world and enjoy the world because truth is, it's just nice to be able to see how other people live and enjoy different environments because you come back refreshed and rejuvenated. I hope you enjoyed my experience and I hope you enjoyed me telling you about all the little experiences I had while out in the UK. And I hope that you stick around to check out more of my content that is really all around empowering you to live a really happy and fulfilled life. Thank you guys for watching. Until the next video, don't forget to subscribe.